what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And guys, with this one right here, this is not the non-spoiler review. This is the spoilery review for Avatar: The Way of Water. It is the sequel to the biggest box office behemoth of all time, Avatar, that came out in 2009. And now, guys, we are here for the sequel, and we're going to spoil this thing up, down, left, right, in and out as if you've already seen it. And I'm so very excited to get into all this nitty gritty. But as you probably see in the thumbnail, I am not by myself today. I have a lovely guest backstage that I will be introducing you to, you guys, for the first time. They do movie reviews, series reviews, exclusive interviews from anything that's movie related or pro wrestling content to the latest hot news within comic books and geek pop culture, providing exclusive interviews and comic book press coverage. I'm so excited to have this gentleman on right now. Coming to the stage. It is Nagier with Big Gold Belt. Hello, sir. How are you doing today? How are you doing?
My brother, B. Avery. What's good, my guy?
What's good, man? What's good? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. I gotta tell you, a fantastic intro. And I also want to give a shout out to our mutual fans, because folks has been saying this collab has been needing to happen.
Really?
And here we are. Absolutely. Absolutely. They be like, man, link up with B. Avery. I'm like, man, it's going to happen. I was going to happen. And here we are.
Yeah, and who are you? That's perfect. I didn't even know, man. And it's not your fault. It's guys, if you've been saying that we need to link up, it's my fault, because we've been talking about it behind the scenes for at least 6 months, maybe longer than that. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, hey man, just let me know whenever you're ready. I'm there, so he just, just wait. And I'm just like, man, I got to get a little bit more organized and all that. But we're finally here, man. I'm glad that we're, able to link up in this collaboration. I'm very, very excited about it. And so if guys, if you don't know who this gentleman is, this is Nagier with Big Gold Belt Media. And so let me go ahead and give the mic to you, sir, and just let the people know who you are and what you do and like where they can find you and all that hot jazz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, Nagier of Big Gold Belt Media. You can tap in with me at biggoldbelt.com. That gets you to all the social networks and all that other good stuff. If it ain't movies or television, I'm also covering pro wrestling live podcasts each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tap in for that as well. Listen, if you are a fan of Just My Opinions, we exist in the same universe. We love to cover the same type of content. That's how we linked up. So yeah, when you're talking about the latest and hottest in television and movies, we're on it, but also too with a particular niche in Black culture, as we like to give our deep dives in that. And that's again how we've got acclimated to one another. And as a person, as I like to say, an advocate for the YouTubers out there, I think that when it comes down to this community of Black content creators and journalists and critics that exist on the YouTube, man, we be grinding, and it's just a honor, yet a dream to be collaborating in the way we are, and for all of you all to support us as we continue to grind and put out that content for you all. So like, yeah, it's nothing but love within our community. We just all want to see each other do better, keep grinding, getting more and more opportunities, and other than that, we keep the grind going. Keep going forward to 2023, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you love what me and Nagier has to say, you can follow both of us on social media. Our handles are on the screen. His information is also in the description box of this video. And I have a new addition to the channel tab. Bam, there he is right there. Big Gold Belt Media. And this is what his channel looks like. Again, his information in the description. And so let's get this man to 30K subscribers as fast as we possibly can. Also, just a shameless plug, I have my non-spoiler review for the film up on my channel. Also, my Emancipation review and Devotion review. And if you would like an audio-only version of this Avatar: The Way of Water spoilers review, that is in the link of this description as well, with Buzzsprout, all these platforms right here, as well as SoundCloud. But now let's go ahead and get into this, guys. If I mean you watching this, you're subscribed to my channel. If not, go ahead and click subscribe. So you have if you may have seen my review. I love the film. Initially I gave it a 9 out of 10, but after thinking about it a little bit more, I gave it an 8.5. But let me pass the mic to you, Nagier. What did you think about this film, man? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? You somewhere in between? You know, your general impressions. Did you think it was better than the first film, or is the first film superior to this one? Let us know how you're feeling, sir.
I have a lot of mixed feelings coming into this film because after 13 long years of waiting, I think majority of us just kind of didn't care anymore. We had seen so many more fantastic films in that period, so that the return of Avatar was kind of just like, okay. And James Cameron talking a massive game.
Yeah.
A massive game. I mean, I remember, and I believe it was San Diego Comic-Con last year, or was it this year? But it was something in terms of James Cameron could not be there because he said, "I'm on set working on Avatar. I can't make it a Hall H. I'm way more important than that." And I'm like, oh man, like the big guns come to Hall H, and you just saying I can't be there. So it was from him and talking about, you know, the comic book genre. And the technology, which is my favorite thing that he always says. And I was just like, okay, here we go. Now, my first bit of hype was when Shazam opted out of December. Shazam's like, "Now we're not competing with that film." I was like, okay,
deuce.
That can be something. And then, you know, obviously it's award season for us critics, so start to see it being nominated already. And I know my tier of where I rank in terms of critics. And when I was able to see, I didn't see it with the first world premiere folks. So I, you know, for the folks that did get to see it and it started hitting ballots around, I'm like, nah, no way. No way. But I gotta tell you, when I set my butt in that IMAX, I seen Adobe, I seen in the Adobe theater, so 3D with the banging sound quality. When I set my butt down and things got to going, I was like, holy, this looked amazing.
Right.
And,
he definitely stepped it up.
Oh, for sure. And I didn't want to have that sort of mindset of just like being so happy because I saw it. So I let it marinate. Sure. And then the next day I was like, what did I watch? Like, I do not know if I've seen anything that just looked that visually and aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
So from the sound, from the visuals alone, I'm like top tier. I don't know if there's anything I've seen better. And then in terms of the story, as a person, and this is something I said in my review, as a person who has really a lot of my video gaming life has been around RPGs, and I'm used to world building, character development, that slow burn in terms of what we're actually here for. I wasn't mad at the build of the film at all. I do not remember the first film by any means. Yes, I know.
Really?
It's just that long ago. I'm just like, okay, it happened. I felt like this was a good, very first step in a reintroduction to a popular. It's almost like they resurrected a franchise, so to say. But it's like a reintroduction to this world, and they completely built the world in all bit of the stakes, from the community conflicts, from the threat from other worlds, in other words, you know, all sorts of different things that they introduced. And I thought that they just did a fantastic job as sort of a first founding building block for the next two films to come. So overall, I think I was at a 9 when I first got out of it, and I sat and I thought about it for a while. I'm like, no, this is still really that good. I'm still around a 9 with it.
Good, man. I'm right there with you. I'm sticking with my 8.5 at the time of this recording, because this is not live. This is recording. I've seen it twice at this point. I saw it last week, lucky enough to attend the screening. Then I saw it yesterday as well. And the first time I saw it, it was in the Dolby 3D. The second time it was in IMAX 3D.
Okay.
And I was blown away both times. Some of the things that kind of bothered me, you know, didn't really bother me the second time around. And so, you know, that's good. You can always learn to appreciate something on the second viewing. But I love this film, man. It's one of the best films that I've seen this year. Not the best, but one of the best. Definitely in the top 10. I have to really sit down and, you know, write it out on paper if it's going to make the top 5, but it's up there. and I do think it is superior than the first film across the board.
Mhm.
Not just because of the visuals, but because of the family and that whole dynamic.
Yep.
You know, that was something I was a bit skeptical on. Just like, okay, am I going to care about these characters, this family? Or are they going to put the Jake and the Terry in the background? And they did kind of put the Terry in the background until the end, because she showed up and showed out. You know, just and we definitely gonna be talking about that, man. But I think, you know, that was one of my favorite parts is just the whole family and the
Yep.
teenagers. And
Mhm.
even with me seeing this twice, I don't know all of their names. Like, I know Took is the youngest one,
My
and
favorite.
yeah,
Mm.
and oh my God, I can't believe I'm tied up again. You know, I love that line at the end. Do you have a favorite character?
De Yeah, so definitely
Oh, you
Took,
just
but
said Took. You just said Took. You said that, and I
yeah,
asked you.
but I do got a major question for you, because you hit on something that I was wondering too. Did you fall? Did you feel a sense of difference between the two different theaters that you saw it in, from the IMAX to the Dolby? Did you notice a difference there?
I did. And because one was the Dolby 3D was at AMC, and the IMAX 3D was at a Cinemark. And I'm not trying to crap on Cinemark, but this is the only real IMAX theater that we have in the Metroplex. But I'm convinced that they turn the lighting down or something, so the screen is not as bright as it is at the AMC. I think they may be
Mm,
doing. I don't. Well, I don't know if it's laser projection or some type of bulb, but it's every time I go there, it's not, the Cinemark theater is not as bright as the AMC, and so
yeah.
hopefully the people don't come, you know, knocking on my door with torches and pitchforks for saying that. But I'm just being honest. But it was a difference. There was more of a ratio on the IMAX, I think, than the Dolby, but the Dolby had the better visuals to me. It may have been the theater, not the technology.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, how you feel about that?
I you know I so I've only seen it once, but I do know, and I think the movie that I was the last movie I was so impressed with the visuals that I wanted to go around and see it in multiple theaters was I'm about to say Galaxy, Gravity, and Interstellar, where I did go see it in multiple theaters. And I will say that a lot of what you're saying is true, that there is some theaters that seem to like either turn down the backlighting or whatever it is, so that it just seems a little bit off. And
Right.
I don't know. I've seen a discrepancy in like color grading at times, where it's like certain blues were kind of washed, but you know, you go to like a Regal or AMC, and the blues, which is the true color you're looking for in certain things, it's this gleam. And I couldn't imagine if it turned it down on this, you know. But yeah, I share the same sentiments in different theaters as well too, which is why I always promote to, like, listen, spend the money, go see it in the biggest and best screen in theater possible. Do not shortchange yourself when it comes down to films like this. So, and
True,
here's
true.
another example.
True. I noticed a huge difference in that. What was that movie? It was a DC comic, Aquaman. Aquaman. It was one theater, it was bright as hell, all vivid colors. Another theater, it was dim, and I was like, oh, I can really tell a difference. But regardless, I still
Yeah.
had a good ass time. You know, getting to know all these characters and stuff. And I want to say one of the things James Cameron, I think, did a hell of a great job is really giving you a good excuse to hate the bad guys, to hate the sky people. Bro, it's just like they're so, lack of a better word, stupid and illogical. Just like, hey, we're here on Pandora now because Earth is dying, but you're you want to make your announcement, your entrance, by coming down, blowing up the place. I mean, as soon as I come down, just destruction. I mean, just at the very beginning of the movie, I love the culture and all that with the family as well. Like, hey, we're talking about this, and we're mourning this, and they had the beads on the necklace. But all of, you
Mhm.
know, and they're talking about peace. He's like giving this little monologue, you know, peace is easy or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And then, you know, him and the Terry laid up in their little canopy. They look up at the stars, at the sky, and they see a new star.
Yeah.
Oh, the sky people come back. And then they just coming down, bro, destroying everything. And I'm just like, why repeat the same behavior? But it's to me, I'm just thinking like this: the ideology of white supremacy just got to take over everything. We the boss, you know, like, and this, the audacity of that, bro. I'm just like, oh my God, it broke my heart. You know, like
Yeah.
I care about Pandora. I care about all the animals and the creatures, and just to see all that fire, man, at the very beginning for them to make Rex, try to make a home, man. It really touched me. But how did you feel about that opening?
Dude, okay, so same sentiments, man, because there's two other little themes in this film that I thought was kind of just like things people are going to gravitate to. One is kids being kids, and sometimes you have the patience, and then after a while you're just like, okay, I'm done with this. Not to talk about other films, but I will quickly say like the best example of like when a kid can completely throw me out of a film was Black Adam. That little kid was just so bad that I just could not engage or anything that was happening. But with this, they were bad. They were doing kid things, but I just still happened to love them. Which was like the best counter to me completely coming out of the theater and saying, "Oh my God, I hate humans." Right. Like we are literally the worst. And while you absolutely focusing on the beginning, I just want to quickly jump to a particular scene where we're introduced to an Asian woman who is part of the diving team, and I'm like, oh, this is great inclusion. This is not just and yes, it's a very supporting character and casting of a character, but like there's a lot of emphasis on her because we start to like feel for her. She's finally getting her first time to dive. She gets her first hook, and you're just like, wow, she's doing things, and everybody's congratulating her, and I'm like, inclusion. This is awesome. Like they're building a character here that we already got a little bit of a backstory of like, hey, she's never had a chance to do it. She's never really had her first hook. I actually feel for her. And moments after, she's like, even with all that, I still hate her. Yeah, because she killed this animal for an unnecessary reason. Right. The theme is humans are terrible, and absolutely what you said, and I haven't even thought about that. So the first Avatar was about the collection of minerals. Now it's like, oh, Earth is dead. Got to find a new place to lay civilization and a habitat. But when we get there, we're going to completely destroy it because that's exactly the right thing to do.
Right. And it's just the arrogance behind it as well. So transitioning to some of the return characters, with Sigourney Weaver and Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang. I don't understand the arrogance. Like, you lost. You got your ass whooped. But you still coming through here just with all the confidence in the world. Yeah, you can kill a Marine, but all we're going to do is gather ourselves back in hell. And, you haven't remembered my death yet because it hasn't happened and it's not going to happen. Rah, 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 rah. I'm like, bro, like I like I just said, James Cameron did a great job of us hating the bad guys, of just wanting us to root for the protagonist and not the antagonist. But I still would have appreciated, I like the personality from the character, Stephen Lang's character, Quaritch. But it would have been nice if he was just a little bit more humble. It's like, okay, we got the weapons, we're in the Avatar body now, but let's not just dive head in first, because I did get whooped last time. And it was so interesting that he found his old body. I like that Cameron did that. He went right to the place where he died and the kids were there. And it was kind of weird to me that he kind of crushed the skull. I don't know. I was like, whoa, that's just, I don't know, but I thought that was dope, man. How'd you feel about all that right there?
Yeah, this is also another really interesting part of it, and I share the same sentiments that I do like what James Cameron did here with this, because again, while the overall goal was, again, to move humanity from Earth, who's dying, to Pandora now, and Quaritch is basically the lead general of this. Everything is being driven through him, and you're thinking like, because he has his sworn duty to do this, that he's taking humanity on his back to fulfill this mission. And by him crushing the scroll was basically saying that, yeah, whatever y'all thought I was here for, you can forget that. This is a vendetta. This is personal. And that crushing of the scroll was letting everybody, folks, know, like, whatever y'all think I'm here for, wrong. I'm here for one person and one person only. Give me Jake Sully, and that's a wrap. And I don't care if I took that L. I'm going for him like I don't have no type of common sense. And that's what it was. To the point that everything that he did not believe in the first one, he completely bought into to evil the playing odds. He's like, oh yeah, I'll get a tail, no problem. Right. If I got to do what I got to do, I got to do it. And I thought that was really good storytelling to accomplish in 10 minutes with a lot of things not even needing to be said, but just you know, just how metaphorical it was to crush the skull, to say like that was the old me, but now this is the new me, and we're going back for round two. I'm not mad at that at all, man. It's we've seen it in superhero movies all the time. You talk about the Hawk and Abomination, you know, gotta do what you gotta do to win the fight, you know.
Yeah. I liked them. I also like that there's a difference in the technology, because I mean he's in an avatar body now, but it's not the same as Jake. You know, Jake actually transferred his soul into the avatar body. You know what I'm saying? Like literally everything. This is just memory and personality.
Yeah.
You know, so that's quite interesting right there. I do like that. He has a child now by the name of Spider. How did you feel about this character right here? I know I saw a couple of reviews. Some people were a little bit annoyed by this character. I wasn't. I like the character. I'll go ahead and say this. I think that he may change sides in the future in the sequels. I think he may go over to the dark side, but we'll see, for reasons that happened at the end of the film. But just before I get into all that, man, how'd you feel about Spider?
I met Jake Champion at D23, and obviously this was way before anything could actually. I mean, we got to see the trailer there, but this was way before we was able to get a lot of the specifics of what was going to happen. And there was a certain level of energy to Jack that made me really intrigued about what his character was going to be. And I could imagine how much fun he had in the filming of this, knowing that his character would be one of the most pivotal characters in this 3 hour of a banger of a film. I enjoyed it because talking about a complex character that, to be honest, no matter whatever he decides, you really can't be mad at him. He has means to be on either side of this that he wants right now. And I don't know how people could not like this character. Again, he's a kid, so he gets the kid pass for doing kid things. But he's also has abandonment issues, so there's trauma there.
Yeah.
You know, there could be a focus of some therapy needed from all of the mental health things that he could be struggling with. I mean, he could be having an identity crisis. I mean, look around, folks. There's not many of you out here.
Yeah,
you know?
Man. Yeah.
So,
I was thinking about that the second time, especially. My fault. Keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I love this character, and God, as you said, beyond Avatar 2, I just can't imagine what's going to happen. I can't imagine when he starts to grow, and what does that look like? Because does he now start to already kind of, you know, with acquiring the skills by learning, but when he actually gets the anatomy to kind of match it, and obviously not going to be like them, but when he starts becoming a young adult or more of an adult human, where does that change him? Because you can see like his limitations in this, but like that's also the other thing, thinking about his physical attributes and how they grow. So there's a lot mentally, physically, and the overall arc with this character that I'm super excited for. I'm sorry, in the top 3 characters, he has to be the one that everybody should be most intrigued going into the next film.
I am really, especially with him saving Courage at the end. I was so mad at him for that. I'm like, bro, like why? This ain't your daddy, man. This is like, well, I know you don't got no daddy, and we don't even know who his mom is. They didn't mention his mom. I tried to pay close attention to who his mom could have been, but I don't think they disclosed that information. Who Courage was smashing. I just kind of want to know, like, how many humans are still on Pandora with the good guys, because that wasn't necessarily explored. But you made up some good points, because you know, he seemed like he had his head on straight. You know, he seemed like he had some good social skills to not be surrounded by too many humans. So, but this is all he knows as well. He's never been to Earth, you know. So hey, who knows?
And listen, Court showed the moment of a sympathy for him.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's an eye for an eye. I can't be mad at that. He saved him. You saved him.
Yeah.
Bada boom.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's also fascinating to me is they chose the humans are choosing Pandora to be their new home, and they can't even breathe there. You know, they got, I mean, I know it's a few hundred years in the future, but I mean, still a mask, like, what the hell break? You know, in the middle of the night, you ain't gonna wake up. Oh no, I was just kind of thinking about that. Going, I already asked you that. So wait, no, you don't really, so were you mad at him for Spider for saving Courage, or you kind of understand where he's coming from?
So I think for the sake of the ultimate showdown at the end, I love that we had a definitive winner and loser by casualty. But then I started to think about, like, dang, well, who's gonna be our villain? You know,
Right.
next,
Right.
next. So that's the first thing I thought about. But also too, I thought it was very telling because we seen with all the kids make the same decision to save their parents. And it's not to say that the Sullys shouldn't have done it, but it's to say like it's actually the sort of the same mark of saying like, hey, we've had our disagreements, and and whether by order of to leave me or by order of like conflict that we had, or by order of, hey, don't you come. Every kid made the decision to be an adult at this point, to make a decision of their own to save their parents. And it's really hard to be mad at Spider when he didn't. I don't feel like he did anything wrong. He did eye for eye. Father saved him. He saved his father, and every kid saved their parent, and that's just what it was. Now I do want to know, will he tell them that he did it, or will that be kept a secret? Because that's
I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Do you think Nagier was really gonna kill him at the end? Or you think she was bluffing? I'm on the fence. I don't know.
That's the question I do not have an answer to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, shout out to Zoe just with and obviously by the motion capture technology, but the emotions that we're seeing in her face through that scene, it's really hard to say she was bluffing. I really do. I mean, obviously she lost her son, so I mean, at this point now she's liable to do whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. Y'all let us know in the chat, in the comment section. Do you think Nagier was really gonna cut Spider's head off at the end to get her daughter back? And if she was gonna kill Spider, I mean, can you relate? Is that the best decision? Let us know, because I know where I'm dying to know. I'm pretty sure
she was for 3 and something hours. She was not pro Spider. So why at this point was she? That was my biggest question.
And at the beginning, she didn't really care for him to be there. She was like, Jake was monologuing. He's a stray, always around, and she actually said he needs to be with his own people. And he don't even have any people there. We're gonna be in the lab, but they did accept him at the end. Because I can't remember if it was Jake or Nagier that said a son for a son. They lost a son, and they brought him in, and so I was thinking, okay, he gonna turn to the dark side, but Jake did accept him in. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't go save him either. They did, but they was, he's lost. We'll get him later.
That was the funniest scene of the entire film. I'm like, man, everybody out here mourning and grieving together, everybody, confining in one another, and my man just wash up on like, oh damn, I missed the invite.
Missed the family photo. You know what I'm saying? Is there any food left? Where's my plate? You know what I'm saying? But going back to the beginning, what I do like is the organization that Jake had, with his tribe in the forest, them taking out the track. I thought that was dope as hell. Like, yeah, this is smart. Of course we're gonna have our native weapons and all that, but let's get some of these assault rifles and rockets as well, But the kids don't want to listen. They get blown up. I'm like, oh man. But what I like about them is they are respectful of their dad. They know they made the mistake, and they was like, yes, sir. I know I'm grounded. I love that. I disagree with Nagier talking about, you're too hard on them, Jake. You're too hard. He got blown up. What do you mean? I had to go in and save him, Nagier. What are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know if you have any kids, man. I know that parents can relate to this a lot because teenagers don't listen. But how'd you feel about that whole interaction? With them trying to get the weapons and the resources and all that hot stuff.
I firmly agree with you here again too. Like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, the whole situation is intense. Everything's heightened. I mean, it is what it is. You got to be strong on them, because the moment you let the kids slip and think they can make the most rational decision, obviously by Jake having the most. I mean, he's declared for a reason here.
Yeah, right.
Listen to Papa in the story.
Right. Let me ask you this, man. We love the film, but like, what are some of your like complaints? Is there anything that like pissed you off, or like, I wish they did not do that? Like, why did they do this, or they should have did this? Like, you got anything like that?
I think easily we could start talking about the runtime in this film. There definitely was a lot of moments where you could tell that he was just going to flex with the technique. Y'all going to see this transition from underwater to aerial to the colors changing from it being light to dark. How some of these low light shots and neon shots are all kind of blending together. Y'all going to see these transitions here. For sure. I think the runtime was definitely a little bit of a flexing. But I don't know. I don't think there was anything I really truly was just like, I can't get over this. I know a lot of people are trying to like imply themes in this film, like other societal themes in it. And I obviously I can see them. I'm very much aware of what I'm watching, but I watched the film and I liked it and I just left it at that. I let the film be the film. I don't think I have any major complaint. I maybe just so many characters being introduced was just probably a little bit problematic in order to kind of keep up for namesakes. But when you see a character, you notice the character, especially when they got the mixing of the tribes. That's when I was like, all right, yep, I'm just going to just remember faces here and how that goes and whatnot. But,
yeah, man. Yeah, good point. Because I'm still struggling with the names on some of them. I got it pulled up over here on IMDb. One of my gripes though is you spoke on it earlier. It was a personal vendetta with Corey trying to get revenge on Jake. I felt, while I did like that, I felt that took up too much of the plot of the story from the antagonist side. Like you have this, we've been waiting 13 years. It's a 3-hour, 12-minute movie, but the main theme line is just revenge, like a one-on-one. Like just, I like it, but I wanted to see more from the new general of her saying, okay, hey, we're here now. We're trying to make a new planet. We're making a new planet. You know what I'm trying to say? We're trying to make this habitable. And Jake is making it difficult for us. I wanted to see more of that. Now, I know that we will get to see that in the future. And also, the whole hunting of the whales for money, that was not included. It seemed a bit forced to me. It just, there wasn't a smooth story transition. Like, they just seemed like, let's put it in. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as smooth as everything else. I'll just say that.
Yeah, this was exactly the point where I was like, yeah, this feels like Final Fantasy to me, because it's like you got one arc of what the game is about, and then you get this side quest, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Here's another like 15 hours of just nothing, and that's what it kind of felt like. And also, I thought it was interesting that the Colonel, who should have the utmost command over anything happening with the humans on Pandora, just had to follow suit. He was just like, yeah, we gotta do this, so yeah, come along. He's like, okay. And I agree. The distraction of yet this vendetta based upon the disloyalty of what happened in the first film was just so much, to the point that like I don't understand how this was never brought into question. Also, and no, I don't think we need more time to focus on the military structure. But if he's going to be the colonel, somebody needs to be checking him like, Colonel, you're not following mission plans, or this is not what we should be doing. And yet everything was always circled around, forget that. I need Jake Sully to the utmost by my hand, like period. So
right. I thought it was interesting and surprising too, the way they was torturing Spider. I know I just jumped back to him, but that just kind of popped in my head. I was like, God damn, y'all are really getting it in over here, but just some other things I like, with the new general. She's coming in. I like the technology with the stilts, and she's able to shape the Quaritch's avatar body. They had the little spiders. We're able to put up a building in 6 days opposed to 30 days. And I'm like, I like all that. I just like upgrades and technology and all that good stuff. But we talked about Stephen Lang coming back. How did you feel about the new character of Kiri by Sigourney Weaver? I liked it for the most. Well, no, there's nothing I didn't like about her. She was a very nice, delightful, cute character. It's the same voice, but they kind of changed it just a little bit. I liked it, man. How did you feel about Kiri?
I thought it was a lot of the humane side that we needed in this. This was the safe story the entire film. Understanding I also think it's a lot of relatable things. Understanding her relationship with her mother, which is dope, by the way, to have to be that character, to have that relationship. And also, I think, you know, when you start to understand that she also had a medical condition. So when you started saying like, okay, this is a young girl who is really struggling with a lot. She has to leave her home. She's already seeing a conflict amongst her dad and her brothers. She's kind of the bystander. She's like the pseudo mother to her little sister Tuck. And then on top of that, you kind of find out that you're like dealing with seizures, and everyone's around you kind of whispering like, hey, you know, she connects with this again, she's going to die. That takes away the thing she just learned she enjoyed so much, swimming. She's the best swimmer of the entire family. And she just comes in and just like, wow, we've been in the woods this entire time. I like this underwater thing. I like the animals here. And then they're like, listen, she keeps looking for her mother, man. She's not gonna wake up from one of these little comas that she's having here.
Right.
I just thought that the character was so enjoyable, but yet just really the humane side of this. This was the safe character arc of the entire film, that like you could just stick with this character and knew you was gonna be okay. You weren't gonna get like none of the like portrayal potential stuff like Spider or any of the brothers who had their own little thing, or even with Jake and Nateri, like, you know, even that had conflicts at times. But this was the character that was just across the board, just entirely safe. And anytime you kind of felt on edge or uncomfortable with anything that's happening, like with the animals, you go back to her and you're just like, okay, peace. I can reset now. That's why I enjoyed that character.
Gotcha. I love it, man. I love it. I love the character. What I do appreciate from the first film, Sigourney Weaver's character, is she actually had respect for the culture and was just trying to understand it more than anybody else. And it seemed like that is all transferred over to Kiri. However, I don't know how I feel about is Kiri like she's a hybrid, but she has a more spiritual connection with Awa, with Pandora than the natives do. I don't know. That's just kind of weird to me. Like, am I tripping, or do you see the same, or are you complete? I mean, she's able to plug herself into, like, when the ending battle, when they were being chased underwater, that dogfight, she was able to connect to the plant and make the plant grab the thing, and the water people was looking at them like, how the hell she do that? We can't do that. She just graduated from underwater school 2 weeks ago, but she done mastered this thing. You know, like, it was cool, but it's just like, how are you able to have such a more deeper connection with their world? And, you know, you just came in. So that was, you know, I'm not like mad about it. I just kind of like, little question mark. I don't know. You got any 2 cents on that?
Anybody who loved anime saw this and went crazy. It's like, yeah, this is exactly anime logic right here. It's like the most innocent character, the most irrelevant character comes in and gets a power up and saves the day. Yeah, I love it. Sign me up for it.
It was nice though. It was nice. I was just kind of curious about that. Now, how you feeling about the Water Tribe, man, and all of them? You know, that was great. You know, they got to leave home, and you know, of course, we got all the scenes where they're flying around, but this just reminded me of the diaspora, man, of us, you know, around the world. You know, we look the same. We have our similarities, but there's such a difference in culture and traditions and all of that, man. And so it was very relatable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I liked it, man. And we got our boy Cliff Curtis, who was it Tano Wari is his name. I liked him, man. I love the fact that the forest people were this color blue, but the water people are more of a teal color. You know, I like that, man. So how did you feel about the whole Water Tribe and, you know, them getting along or trying to get along and all that hot stuff?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was the part of the film that I just was not expecting to be this invested into. You just like, okay, they got to leave their home. They're gonna go to another tribe. They're gonna be on the run because nobody's ever going to accept them. But the fact that they did bring them in, and you know, we got to learn more about their culture, their physical differences. It just, again, it makes the world of Pandora so much more interesting, because now you start to think, we have a wooded, we have a wooded community, a water community, do we have a fire community next?
You know
Like,
what I'm saying?
yeah, like the gears start to turn and you start to wonder, like, what are the designs of these of these other species going to look like? So I love the fact that they thoroughly took time to really flesh out this community, learning that their physical differences, why they are a water tribe, their hierarchy in there, as you show her, the strong women in the community as well, their connection with the water species as well too. I just think they did a really good job. And if we're going to go see different parts of the world, then, you know, let's really truly be introduced to it. And I just did not think I will enjoy that part of this much of the film in that aspect as I did. I still am shocked. Like, dang, I really care about the water community. Like, that was really cool how they fleshed that all out.
Yeah, they did, man. With all the tattoos and the jewelry and the hair, you know, all of them didn't look the same. I'm thinking of her brothers. I don't have an image of it, but they had like really distinct features in the face to tell them, you know, apart. And that just goes to the creative department on how hell of a great job they did. So thumbs up there, man. And everything is just so damn bright, man. And I loved it. I mean, just like these animals here that they can swim underwater and above water. You know, when the battle, when Courage had his gun shooting, they all just dived. And I was like, oh, this is heaven. Yeah, I'm loving this. But before we geek out about that, man, how did you feel about the whole whale plot line with, you know, them returning and not hibernating, but I forgot the word, but how did you feel about all the whales and that little story?
Let's see. So the one whale, which I can't think of his name right now, but that whale,
Pico or Pico or Picon or something.
Yeah, let me check real quick. I don't know, I got it in my notes, but I thought that at one point I was like, where's this going? But then to understand why this one whale has been like outcast, and then the significance of these whales and how they kind of brought it on. I think it took a while to get there, but afterwards I was like, okay, I don't think the significance of the whales have anything to do with this movie. Definitely going forward with the preservation of humanity, human lives, with what the serum that they're able to extract from the whales. So it was like a necessary introduction for a greater cause, but they did it. And before they got to it, I was just kind of like, why? Like, and I'm thinking like, I really didn't know when the son was trying to connect with the whale and he was just risking it all for the whale. I was like, oh, please make this make sense, because my man about to get his whole family kicked out of their you know, temporary home for the sake of him wanting to be friends with a whale. And the whole tribe's like, oh, he's a killer. Oh, that is something I had an issue with. They wrote this whale off as being a killer and cared nothing to investigate. And when the mother say she had a connection with the one whale, I think she called it her I forgot what it was.
Spirit sister or something?
Yeah, spirit sister. Yeah. It's like, you're not gonna ask your spirit sister like what really happened.
That's a good point.
I mean, y'all that connected, right? Y'all asking about each other kids. You're not gonna be like, hey, so
that's a good point.
And it's also like they're killing machines, but then y'all also chilling with them. So I'm like, are they deadly or are they not deadly? Because y'all giving me two different vibes here. It seems like, oh yeah, these are cool, but there's that one. He's really deadly. Don't mess with him. That's the problematic one. Don't mess with him. And even the hunters were just like, oh, they don't fight back. So the consensus is that they're all peaceful, except for this one. So to sum it up, this one outcast is the black sheep of the entire family of underwater creatures for no reason. Tell me if that ain't relatable.
Right. Good point, man. Good point. Y'all let us know in the chat, in the comment section, what you think about that. Let me ask you this, man. One of the things that I wish did not happen was the death of the older brother. That broke my heart. Now, Cameron wrapped it up very, very good at the very end, where I guess they were having their funeral, and you know, they put I don't want to say bury the body, but you know, put it in the underwater spirit tree, and then he was remembering, you know, teaching them how to hunt or to fish. You know, he was a little boy, grew up, and that was a very nice, touching moment. Like, that made me feel better about the death, but I still think it was a bit unnecessary. I don't have a problem with death. I just wanted everybody to make it, you know. I mean, it gave Naturian lovely motivation for her to whoop ass at the end. But I don't know how'd you feel about that death? Did it bother you, or are you cool with it, or how you feel?
But yeah, same sentiments as you. Definitely bothered me. But how they handled it was okay. But I also thought it was forced because we all saw it coming. Once he got to save his brother and Spider, and he was the last one to come, and Spider and the other brother, I forget his name, are cheering like, "Wow, that was so cool! We did it!" Of course, we knew he had took a shot, and I don't think it was necessary. I don't know, and I get the motivation for Naturi like going forward, but like I don't know, man. I would have. Here's my thing. You gave us 3 hours to invest with this family, to connect with this family, and then you start taking them away. Give us one whole movie. I'll even take an early death in the next movie. But like, man, just already, just like, I don't know. I wish we had a little bit more time to marinate with all of the characters in the family. And obviously the brother dynamics is also something that was slightly featured, but I would have liked a lot more of it. Now that they're getting on the same page in terms of respect. You talked about one being the superior warrior, the other one's always being sat on the bench. Now the younger brother steps up in a way that starts to show him in the light that he should be out there. So let's see the two brothers go out there and do their thing. Yeah. That's what I would like. You kept them separate the entire film until this. And then that happens. Like, wow.
I do like them taking up for the sister though, Carrie, and fighting, and he's like, "Let me show you my hand." It's boom, and he gave him a 3-piece. It's called a punch, bitch, or whatever he said. I like that. I love when siblings, stick together and all that.
For sure.
But man, going back to the bad people, they're looking for Jake. They're burning down beaches and canopies, and they're shooting the fish in the water. I wanted to jump through the screen, bro, and just throw hands with the Navi. Like what? Like, God, I hate human beings. Like, seriously, like I don't want to be here no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh God. So it pissed me off. The boy dies. Naturi turns into a Super Saiyan level 7. And oh my God, bro, that action scene at the end was freaking amazing. The way they were so accurate with them arrows. I mean, just coming down, zoom, right there in the chest. Oh, dude got his arm ripped off from the cable. The whale coming to save the day at the end. Oh, you messing with my people? Smashing. I love they had that thick armor. Man, I was in there, man. Every death, every explosion, every arrow that broke through the glass. I was like, oh, yes, yes, yes. How'd you feel about it?
Man, that third act was top tier. That is going to be the biggest discussion. Is this the best third act of an action film ever? I cannot even think of anything that kept me on the edge of my seat like I did. And while it was so cinematic with so much action and just a visual spectacle, there was also some comedic moments too, as you mentioned. The receipt my man got for being obsessed with wanting to kill the whales, completely ill-advised. I mean, there's a whole war happening. You're just like, oh, whale, gotta get it. And when my man got his arm ripped off, I jumped out of my seat and yelled. I don't know if anybody else in the theater did, but I had to. It is what it is. Yeah. But also too, the whale, and I saw this from a mile away. There was a certain shot in the film where I saw it being staged, and I said, "Oh, we're about to get a Free Willy moment." When the whale jumped over the thing and splashed over, I was just like, "Okay, camera, I see what you did." So like there was comedy in it as well, but like, man, was the action so good. And I mean, perfect. Yes, you expect Jake, you expect Naturi, you expect the leader of the water tribe, and even his wife. You expect the adults to do the thing, but even the kids were getting it in at points that I was like, man, everybody eating. It was dope. Yeah. Oh, and last thing, I laid a lot of emphasis on this on my review. Complete shout out to all of the stunt workers, especially the ones on the defensive side. The way how people were getting blasted away and just taking those explosions and arrows. I'm talking about the positioning of the bodies and everything. Nothing to me felt exaggerated. Everything felt entirely practical for the world that it is. Like people were like not Michael Bay-ish, were like Power Rangers to the utmost, but like no. Things were happening in a way that you would expect it to happen in terms of just, the realism of it. And I thought like the stunt folks, especially on the defensive side, the folks who was taking arrows, who was taking, punches and everything, was killing it. Fantastic job to the stunt the stunt team.
Yeah, yeah. And even when you said everybody was getting it in, like when the whale jumped, I like that one of the boys pulled a gas grenade off one of them, pushed somebody else, kicked somebody off the ship, biting arms. I'm like, yes, I don't like this. Save me, save me, save me. Said, use your feet, something, So the ending battle was perfect. And oh my God, Natiri and her blood, rage, lust towards the end was just immaculate. The way she was killing people, just you gonna feel me like
Yeah.
oh man, that was perfect, man.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. So we're at the end. What is it that we haven't talked about that you want to get off your chest? If not, we can keep it moving. But is there anything that you're just dying to say to get off your chest, good or bad, to kind of wrap things up? Let us know, sir.
Yeah, last thing I think, because we haven't made a focus on it, is like what makes this film different from any other IMAX 3D films it has, and obviously it's the frame rate, the refresh rate in the frame. So, if you've seen the Hobbit trilogy, and not even a trilogy, but I believe only the first, maybe two. I'm not even sure if the third one did it, but it's that high refresh frame rates that makes this looks like a video game or a computer game or anything that you kind of use on the monitor outside of your television. And a lot of people wanted to know, well, how did it feel? How did it take? You've seen two viewings. I've seen one. I thought it was done very good, easily watchable, no strain on the eye. As a person who watches, when I watch 3D movies, I always worried about the alignment of my head, because if you watch it straight, that's how they want you to watch it. But, 3 hours, you're going to. And all of that is fine. No matter how you're looking at it, it looks amazing. And just the refresh rate of it just takes this film to the next level. As I said, the flexing of the technology and the visuals here was definitely made the runtime what it was. But like, I ain't mad at it at all, because every single moment of the screen, whether it's something happening or you're just watching the world building, it looks good. It's, as I like to describe it, this was like an amusement park of a film. Every direction you look, there was something that was like, oh, that looks fun. That looks fun. I want to try that. I want to go there and do that. Like everywhere you look, that this film just visually was good, and the score also definitely was amazing. And with the mocap technology, I think that's the name of it, how they're doing it, when they get up and close and personal, as we spent so much time and talk about Naturi and her raging, when they focused in her face and you saw the emotions and stuff, it was just another level of excitement, that just an emotion that just really hit you in the veins, and you were just right there with her. When she raged, you raged, because it just was that you felt this film. That's why, again, like an amusement park, because although I didn't see it in 40x, it felt like it, because I was moving around just like it was, So
yeah.
If all else fails, watch this film in complete silence, and you're gonna have a good time. Period.
Right on. The first time I saw it, I did notice the frame rate changing. I think it was in the forest. That's the only time I noticed, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I see that clearly." I didn't notice it the second time. I actually forgot to look for it. Not that I was looking for it the first time, but overall, man, I love the film. I can't wait for part 3. And yeah, you're at a 9. I'm at an 8.5, and I want everybody to go see it. But before we head out of here, because I know you have a tight schedule, sir. The first movie, Avatar, 2009. The original release, it made 2.7 billion worldwide, but now it is at 2.9. What do you think Avatar: The Way of Water will make at its final run worldwide box office? It says 441 right now. What do you think, sir? What is your prediction?
This is hard. This next upcoming weekend should be a clear. This should really make it definitive of where it's going to land. I heard somewhere that if it doesn't make within the top 5, because of how much the budget was for this film, that it doesn't break even.
That's domestic, top 5 domestic, not
worldwide. Okay, cool. But overall, man, it's hard to tell, man. It's going in the right direction, and it got a major holiday. Man, it's 2 major holidays. A lot of folks are going to have time. Folks who, especially federal workers, are going to take off use or lose and whatnot, gonna get out there and get their families. There's absolutely nothing to compete with it for the next couple of. I don't even think until what, maybe February or March.
Yeah, February. I think Ant-Man and the Quantumania.
Yeah,
that's the next big film. People, I mean, Puss in Boots may give it some competition, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'll just say this: 82 for Avatar 1. But the second one, the audience liked it more, and the critics liked it slightly less, but that's still good. Now, if we look at the box office, it had a 17% drop from Friday to Saturday, from Saturday to Sunday. This is very good, guys. This is very good. And I thought the first film, it was in theaters for at least 7-8 months. And so the opening weekend didn't mean anything to me. Our word on the street is people are waiting to see this sequel because they're trying to see it on premium screens, which is another good thing. So I don't know. The only I think that I'm shout out to Elliot with Movie Files, because we got a back and forth going. Like, he doesn't think it's going to make nearly as much. I think it's going to make more. I think it's going to hit at least 3 billion worldwide. I'm gonna say 3.5 billion.
Yeah.
Only thing holding me back is maybe COVID. If COVID gets out of control, that may put a hurdle in front of it. However, Spider-Man No Way Home last year, that was in the middle of COVID, and that made almost 2 billion, 1.9. So I think it'll at least hit the 3 billion, bro.
I concur. I was going to bring up COVID because I wasn't sure where. I know we've been getting talks around our area for going back into protocols for certain things, but I also think that, like, while we think about it on the opposite end, let's think about on the front end that if the scare of COVID is coming, that may also rush people to go into the theaters, because this ain't coming on digital on demand. You can forget that. We won't see this until like next year. But if you had to know, like, hey, we're going back into mask and a lockdown, let's just say March. Get your stuff in order, folks. And folks are going to go buy all the water, all the toilet paper, and get all the bit of entertainment that they can. Get those trips in, but you are going to have those folks going to say, nah, I need to see this before it's too late. Because I do think because of the pandemic, there's that mindset of folks saying, I'll just watch it on demand. Soon as they change advertisement saying we'll only be in theaters, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Right. And people gonna go out there and spend no money. So I think Christmas is gonna be a good indication of where this goes. Obviously, New Year's, and I think obviously these next 2 weeks of folks being home, I think is really going to see. I think we're going to see a spike in the box office with it, with no competition.
Yeah, and I'm confident it's gonna be a long time before it's on Disney Plus. I'm glad that Bob Chapek is no longer the CEO, because his dumb butt probably would have had it released on Disney Plus today. Then they released like he did with Black Moron. take that back. But anyway, man, guys, that is our spoilery review for Avatar: The Way of Water. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please let us know what you thought about the movie, what you thought about our commentary in the chat, in the comment section below. We would love to hear all of your thoughts. Again, if you want my well, it's no point to check out my non-spoiler review, but hey, if you want to help me out reviews, you can. Also, Emancipation, I love that film, and I love Devotion as well. And again, there will be an audio only version of this. Links to that is in the description on all these platforms right here, and SoundCloud as well. If you like what myself and Nagier had to say, you can follow us on social media. Handles on the screen. His information is in the description box of this video, and he is on my channel tab. Subscribe to his channel right now. And before we head out of here, man, is there anything upcoming on your channel or you have right now that you want to shout out to the people, let them know what you have coming up or what they can check out?
Oh man, can I say it? Oh, let me think. Per embargo. I don't know, folks. I think there is a particular season 2 of a show in the 50 verse that you may know is releasing. Yeah, I guess if the trail's out, we could talk about it. Yeah, BMF season 2, folks. Yeah. Okay. We down for that. Godfather from Harlem is coming back. January is gonna be great for television. There's a lot of things get near. So yeah, we're gonna do what we do, man. So
are you gonna check out Your Honor with Bryan Cranston and
yes, man, you're honored there. And
that
then
looks good.
The Last of Us. I mean,
Yeah.
what is going on in January, man? We're gonna be working. That's all I know. Between us two and everybody else in our community, folks gonna have a good old time on the YouTube, man. So
already, don't click off yet, bro. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery, and that's Nagier, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.